Wassup YouTube, PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you a very special draft recap video for Fella. The Foxy Epic League of Legendary Awesomeness, which we are now a part of. I announced it in the most recent update video, and I decided that I would do this draft recap video so I can show you guys what we got from the draft. Now, we started off very late in the draft, which kind of sucks. We were 14th pick overall out of 16, which kind of stinks. But it allowed us almost kind of a wheel pick. It's not really a wheel pick, but kind of a wheel pick. We got things, which is kind of good. But before the season started, every coach was allowed to franchise a mon that was not previously drafted the season before. This season, since this league is based off of Showdown, Volcanion and Eternal Floette were made available. So I decided that I wanted to use Volcanion and try to make it shine to its fullest potential before actually being released. So I franchised Volcanion. Now the way franchising works is, well, I'll explain the draft first. Each tier is worth a certain point value. You're given 168 points to start the draft off, which is basically there made so that you can get essentially 2 OU Amons, 2 OU Bs, 2 UU, 2 RU, 2 NU, and 2 PU. Right? Perfectly set up that way. The way that franchising works is basically you get whatever mon you want for 4 points higher than its original cost. And at the time that I franchised it, it was before they decided that Volcanion was going to be an OUA. They wanted to move it to OUA, but they decided against it, and it was an OUB, so I basically scooped it up as a free OUA pick, which is kind of nice. Stat-wise, if you look at it, base 80 HP ain't bad, base 70 speed, it ain't all that fast, but it doesn't really need speed, because if you look at the bulk, base 90 special defense, which is nothing to laugh at, base 120 defense, which is nothing to laugh at, it eats hits for days. And then you look at its offensive stats. Base 110 and 130 respectively, attack and special attack. That's crazy. That's crazy good. Because it can be mixed if I need it to be. It can be strictly physical. It can be strictly special. And it has the move pull to back it up. If we look at this, we have Earthquake and Earth Power. We have Brick Break for screens. Fire Blast, Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Flare Blitz. All of these fire moves as options. We have Flash Cannon for fairies, potentially. We have Focus. Also for rock types, actually. We have Focus Blast for rock types as well. Heat Wave is an option. Hidden Powers are always options. Hydro Pump and Overheat for hard damage. We have Rock Slide. Rock Slide's really good. We have Scald, which is not that great for us. We have Steam Eruption, which is his signature move, which is basically a base 110 power Scald. It's slightly less accurate, but you know what? At the end of the day, still a 30% chance to burn, and it's going to hit harder. We have Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave for those fairies again. Stone Edge is an option, super power. Just overall, good mon. It also has status options with Toxic and Will-O-Wisp. It can phase with Roar. It's got Protect for scouting. Such a good mon. You can even run a Power Herb Solar Beam set if you really wanted to. Take on those water types that you already wall, which is kind of amazing. It's just overall a very powerful mon. And with Water Absorb, it's really nice because we get a quarter of our max HP when hit by a water type, which is kind of nice. So it allows us for some sustainability, and if we make the right predictions, we can actually put in a lot of work. So I'm actually going to decide to name this thing Old Faithful, like the Old Faithful Geyser, because that's pretty much what Volcanion is. So that's pretty dope. So on to the actual draft. I kind of had in mind what Mega I wanted. I wanted to draft my Mega Earth. And it came down to my pick, and the Mega I wanted did not get drafted, so I scooped up Mega Scizor. Which, you know, has the Technician ability, which is kind of nice. Base 60 power moves, boosted. I love it. Look at its stats. You know, very bulky. You know, its defenses are amazing. Base 140 and base 100. fantastic defenses overall. Very, very, very bulky. 65 special attack can be used for potential technician hidden power if I need it to. If I really wanted to, I could. Base 75 speed isn't terrible. It's not too slow. Base 150 attack is what really catches your eye. Because base 150 attack is going to hurt. Especially with a technician boosted bullet punch or something like that. It's going to really hurt. If you look at the move pool, we have Aerial Ace and Aerial Ace, which is technician boosted, which hurt a lot. We have Agility for setup. Baton Pass if we want to baton pass that agility to something. Brick Break for screens. We have Bullet Punch, which is just amazing since it's priority. We have Hidden Powers, which are all technician boosted, which would actually do decent against certain mons if there's a 4-time weakness we want to take advantage of. Iron Head, knockoff for utility purposes, is one of the most spammable moves in the game. Pursuit for pursuit trapping things, which is a really, really nice thing to have. Quick Attack for another form of priority that wants to catch things off guard if it resists maybe steel or something, I don't know. Super Power for really, really hard-hitting fighting moves. U-Turn for momentum. X-Scissor if we don't need the momentum. Just good options everywhere for this mon, and I'm really, really excited to have it. Because it looks a lot like one of my favorite Marvel superheroes, I'm just going to call this thing Tony Stark. Let's be honest, he basically looks like Iron Man. There's that. Next up, we waited a couple picks, and the person before me picked Latios. And it scared me because I thought they said Latios, and I freaked out for a minute. But they didn't, so we were actually able to scoop Latios, which is fantastic. Because Latios is one of the best mons, in my opinion, in the League format. Base 110 speed, so it breaks that base 100 speed tier and is in pretty much a speed tier all its own. Really, really fast. It takes a lot to outspeed it. It's very bulky overall with base 80 defense and base 110 def. Base 130 special attack's really, really good. It can hit really hard. Base 90 attack isn't bad either. If you want to run a Dragon Dance set, you can. It's definitely viable. You can run Assault Vest on it very easily. Choice Scarf or Choice Specs are very, very useful as well. You run it bulky with leftovers. You can do pretty much just about anything with Latios. Moves like Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, Energy Ball, Earthquake, the Hidden Powers, Ice Beam, Psychic or Psyshock. Yeah, a lot of good moves here. Maybe use Waterfalls and Headbutt, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave for things. You also have in this mon a Tailwind user. If you want to try to get a Tailwind up before you get KO'd, you can potentially run a Kustop Berry and get a Tailwind if you're down really low. You have Surf, which is really, really good. You have access to Roost and Recover for recovery purposes. You can set up screens if you really, really want to. You know, this thing provides a lot of options. And if you're in a tight spot and you have a mon specifically that you need to be made better, you can actually go ahead and go for a Memento. And kill yourself off, yeah. But at the same time, you drop the stats of the mon in front of you, so you can go out into a setup mon potentially and set up and sweep, which is amazing. I like the idea of just being able to set up and sweep and fuck some shit up. So yeah, there's that. Nickname I'm going to give this thing, I've been giving it this since I met my one best friend, Aurora. The story behind it is, she used to call me Emoto-chan, which is, or no, I call her Emoto-chan, which is little sister in Japanese. She always calls me Oni-san, which is big brother in Japanese as well. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of cool that, you know, I got to use this mon for this league, as it does provide some sentimental value to it. But yeah, we're just gonna just going to move on. Next up, we have one of my favorite mons, and I'm surprised I was able to scoop it up when I did. I scooped it up earlier on in the draft because it was technically in the UU tier. I wanted to scoop this thing up. Jolteon, such a good mon. Fast electric types are really, really good in the league format because of Volt Switch. Mainly because of Volt Switch. Volt Switch is such a spammable move and gets really good momentum really fast. The good thing about Jolteon is it's in a speed tier all its own at base 130.
We're going to get food. We're going to be leaving here around 6:15. Brace up, we're leaving at 6:20. Get right there. You have like 4 minutes.
So having Jolteon on the team is fantastic because we have a mon that can be made to pretty much outspeed an entire team without too much help. Base 110 special attack also allows us to hit very, very hard on top of the speed, which is fantastic. Item-wise, we can run Assault Vest with the base 90 Spadef. It'll do really well. If we want to Scarf this thing and make sure we outspeed things, it's even better. We can run Specs too, which is even cooler. Choice Specs would be making it hit harder. Hidden Powers are really helpful. We can run Heal Bell, Substitute, Protect. We can run Wish on this thing if we really want to. Discharge potential paralyses. A lot of its movable isn't too deep. But at the end of the day, you don't need many moves with Jolteon because it's just that good with what it can do. So I'm actually going to call this thing Boy because it just makes sense to me. I don't know. I'm a geek. I like that kind of stuff. I'm an engineering major, so I see ohms a lot, and yeah, just kind of fits. Next up, we have, I'm going to give the nickname immediately. Our shout out to the Tucson Terrakions, coached by the King Nappy in the UCL. Tucson the Terrakion is here. We scooped this thing up. It's insanely good. I'm really hyped to have it. Base 129 attack, base 108 speed. It's just so fast and hits so hard. It's insanely good. Base 90 defenses all around. Allows it to be made bulky if I need it to be. And base 91 HP allows that to happen. It's such a good mon, and allowing us to also kind of put fear into people from clicking knockoff a lot. They don't want to accidentally hit this thing and give me +1, because if I get +1, then you're probably going to get fucked up really fast. So there's that. Provides moves like Close Combat, Earthquake, Stone Edge as well. Poison Jab, Iron Head for fairies. Stealth Rock option provides Stealth Rocks, which is really, really good. Superpower, X Scissor, Zen Headbutt. You know, it provides a lot of options for our team. It can just really hit hard. Terrakion was the MVP of, I believe, Season 3 of the GBA, which is really cool. So hopefully I can put in as much work with it as they did. It's a really, really good mon. Hopefully it'll work out in my favor. Next up, we have Chestnut. Chestnut, I wanted to scoop up because I wanted to start building my Firewater Grass Core, or kind of a Firewater Grass Core. I mean, I already had Volcanion, which covers both the fire and the water. So I really just needed the grass, and I wanted to grab Chestnut. I kind of wanted Shaman, but it got scooped up before me. So I decided to go with Chestnut here because it's a really, really good physical wall. Can be made specially defensive if I really wanted to. Base 107 attack allows it to not just be a passive wall. It allows it to hit things really, really hard. Bulletproof is a very interesting ability because not a lot of people know off the top of their head what Bulletproof makes it immune to, which is kind of nice. Move set wise, it gets a lot of really interesting moves like Dragon Claw, Drain Punch, Earthquake, Gyro Ball. Iron Head for fairies, Poison Jab for fairies. It's got a signature move being Spiky Shield, which is basically a protect, which allows the opponent's physical attackers to take 1/8 damage to themselves, which is a fantastic move in my opinion. It can also be a spike setter if I really want it to be. It can set up spikes for me, which is really, really good. It gets Zen Headbutt, which shocked the hell out of me season 1 of the PFCFL. It's got Wood Hammer, a lot of really, really good moves for coverage. It also has Super Fang, which is really, really good for very, very bulky mons that we might go up against. Really, it's another option to have. We're going to call this thing Walnut, because it's basically what it is. It's just a gigantic wall of a walnut. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So with that, we're going to get into the second half of the draft, where I got my first RU-mon in the form of Drapion. Drapion is a mon I've always been a fan of. I've always wanted to use competitively, never really got a chance to. But it's really, really good. It's got a base 110 defense stat and base 75 special defense. Coupled with the ability Battle Armor, it's very, very bulky, so you can't like just crit it and get rid of it. Like it's not that easy. It also gets Sniper, which helps with critical hits, which is really nice as well. It hits really hard with a base 90 attack stat. It actually hits pretty decently hard. And base 95 speed, it's not that slow either, so it allows it to be EV'd appropriately with speed so that we can outspeed the necessary things and do the damage we need to do. Moveset wise, looking at the moveset, we have things like crazy things like Aqua Tail, the Fang moves, which is really, really useful. Fire Fang, Ice Fang, potential Thunder Fang. Home Claws if we want to set up, and Agility as well for speed purposes. Brick Break for screen mons. We've got Crunch, Knockoff as well, one of the most spammable moves in the game. Poison Jab, which is really, really good. Pursuit for pursuit trapping, which is awesome. We can rest up if we need to. Rock Slide. We don't get Shadow Claw, which kind of sucks. I kind of wish we did, but at the end of the day, we don't need it. We have Taunt. We have Toxic Spikes. We can set up Toxic Spikes. We can Whirlwind, which is really, really good because it'll allow us to phase things. It'll also allow us to counter potential switch-ins and send them packing and potentially bring in a better matchup for us. Also, if we can get the hazards up, say if we have a layer of Toxic Spikes up, we can cycle their team through on the Toxic Spikes and allow them to all be poisoned. And then that'd be fantastic. Nickname-wise, I want to make a Mortal Kombat reference. Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite fighting game series. I'm just going to call this thing Get Over Here. Because if anyone remembers the great Scorpion saying that, you had a good childhood. So the next mon we drafted, I kind of wanted to get some more hazard availability on the squad. I needed something else that could play hazards. And a hazard that's always been one of my favorites. So I was looking at my team, and we had a good amount of speed, but some of it wasn't. Like we had, base 70 Volcanion, and I really want to make Volcanion shine in this league, like a lot. Like, I really just want to make it look good. I also want to make Mega Sizzler look as good as it should. So I thought in my head, sticky webs. Well, what's one of the best sticky web setters around? That's Leavanny. I scooped Leavanny up out of PU. It was only 4 points, so it didn't really hurt me all that much. And I was able to get it because it's a really, really good sticky webber. Because it's not all that slow. It's got base 92 speed, which isn't slow by any means whatsoever. Which made me very, 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 very happy. Because if I can outspeed a lead mon and get sticky webs up, then I can work with the rest of my team for potentially handling that, you know. But yeah, so there's that. That's kind of nice. Base 80 defenses, it's not terrible, so it can actually eat a hit if it wants to. So it's kind of nice. Base 70 special attack, you can use special moves if you really want to. I'm not too big of a fan of the special set, but at the end of the day, you know, it's there. It can be used. Base 103 attack is kind of nice, though. You know, it gets access to things like X-Scissor, Leaf Blade, Knockoff. You can see here, you know, a lot of decent moves. It can also be a Cleric a little bit. It has access to Heal Bell. It doesn't get Wish, but it does get Heal Bell, which is really, really nice. Oh, my throat hurts so bad. Oh. I apologize for all of that, but my throat's killing me. I've been recording all afternoon. Probably going to be recording even more later tonight, but, you know, what can you do? I want to get all the recording done and out of the way as soon as possible so that I can relax the rest of the week and just upload things, but this thing gets a lot of good options for, you know, taking on my opponents nicely. Yeah, so Leavanny is a really, really good mon. I'm happy that we scooped it up. Yeah, so that's about it. That's about that. I'm going to call this thing Tailor-Made, but I'm going to spell the Tailor Tailor, so that it's like a tailor who makes clothes. Kind of cool idea. Next up, we got Frostlass. Frostlass is a mon that I'm kind of interested in using. Base 80 offenses all around isn't terrible. It's not the best. We can work with it. It's very fast. It's got base 110 speed, which is kind of nice. Could be better. It could be worse. You know, I'm not complaining, I guess. It's very frail, so I'm going to be careful with it. It's probably going to be Focus Sash 95% of the time, but, I mean, we get things like Frost Breath for crits. We get Destiny Bond, which is kind of nice to have. If we can Destiny Bond something, you know, threatening early on in a matchup, you know, we could potentially, if we can Destiny Bond something really devastating early on in a match, I'm all about it because I want to get rid of things. I want to get rid of it. Whatever it is, I want it dead, essentially. But we have access to Ice Beam, Frost Breath, Blizzard, all the classic Ice-type moves. Since we're base 80 all around offensively, we can also run things like Ice Shard, Ice Punch, stuff like that very safely. We can run things like Will-O-Wisp and Hex. We don't get Will-O-Wisp, never mind. We run things like Thunder Wave or Toxic and Hex and do some really big damage. We run Trick and a Choice Scarf or something like that. We can run things like Thunderbolt, Taunt, a lot of good. It's a very, very good support mon for my team, and it provides me with an Ice typing and our first Ghost type. I say first Ghost type because in a second you'll see our second Ghost type being Golurk. Golurk is really good because it has base 89 HP, base 80 defenses all around, which allows it to be very bulky. But the thing that makes Golurk good is its base 124 attack stat. It doesn't need special attack at all. It's irrelevant. Speed 55, not that fast, but you know, at the end of the day, base 124 attack. It's got enough bulk to live hits and dish back some damage. No guard allows, you know, very inaccurate moves to hit, so we can run things like Dynamic Punch. Iron Fist boosts the power of punching moves by 1.2, which is even better because we can hit things extra hard. Because he has all the punching moves: Dream Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. All those moves are there, and they're all going to get boosted, which is really awesome. We also have access to Stealth Rocks. It's another potential hazard setter for our team. We can run things like Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Shadow Punch, Power Up Punch, Low Kick, Ice Punch, Heavy Slam, Hammer Arm, Gyro Ball. A lot of good options for this mon. So I'm going to call this thing, since it looks like a transform, I'm going to call this thing Optimus Prime. Because it just bears that resemblance to Optimus, in my opinion. Also, we decided to call this thing Elsa, the Frostlass. So that's the thing. So we came down to these last couple of picks. There really wasn't much left. I wanted a flying type, but I only had 8 points left. So I needed to get just two PU mons. That was all I could afford. So that's that. So I looked in PU at flying types. There was nothing good. Literally nothing of value in PU, in all honesty. So I was really disappointed in that fact, but again, what can you do? You take what you get, and I got Dodrio. Dodrio, I'm going to call Clarence, because I remember a Pokemon Fusion meme a while back that drew a Weeping Bell head onto a Doduo as its second head, and that Doduo's name was Clarence. He was being strong for his mother, so this Clarence is going to be strong for us, hopefully. The big downside to this mon is literally that's his entire move pool. Right there. That's it. I mean, there's this stuff, but all of this is like the special attacks that nobody will ever use. Ever. Or things like Sky Attack, which I don't want to run Power Herb Sky Attack and have that be one use only. You know, that's dumb. And Natural Gift provides me having to carry a specific berry. You know, at the end of the day, while it could be useful for a surprise tactic, it's not that viable. So that's my one big issue, is this thing's move pool isn't great. I mean, it has, you know, Toxic, Taunt, you know, stuff like that. It's really useful, I guess, for support. It's got Roost for longevity. It's got Return. Every other mon does. Quick Attack for priority. Pursuit for pursuit trapping. Knockoff, spammable move. It's got Brave Bird, which is the main reason I got it, is because it had Brave Bird. That's pretty much the main reason I got it. And its stats aren't terrible either. It's got base 110 attack and base 100 speed, so it's fast and it hits hard. It's kind of a glass cannon, but you know what? It's pretty much all I needed it for. The main moves it's going to be using are full of recoil, so it's going to be dying slowly anyway. At the end of the day, you know, that's kind of what I got to go with. And that's just about that. The last mon we got, I got Carbink here. Carbink is the fake version of Diancie, who's a diamond. So I'm going to call this thing Zirconia. Carbink is basically one-dimensional. It's got Clear Body and Sturdy, which are decent abilities. Doesn't have much of a move pool to it, but it's there for a specific niche. It sets up Stealth Rocks very nicely. With a Sturdy ability, it can set up rocks safely without fear of dying beforehand. It gets access to Explosion, which is really, really nice. I can explode in a situation where I don't feel comfortable. It has access to things like Ancient Power, Dazzling Gleam, Earth Power, Moonblast, Psychic, you know, a good array of special moves, Power Gem, good array of special moves to hit things with, but the problem is it's not going to hit anything all that hard. We got base 50 special attack. It's not going to hit all that hard. It's just there basically as an extra wall if I need it, if the typing is necessary, if I need a good fairy type to sit in front of a team and bulk hits. That's what Carving's going to be here for. But that's going to be it for our Fella draft recap. If you guys are excited for this season of Fella, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. As you prepare to follow the Hazelton Hoopas into the depths, the bowels, the belly of the beast, known as Fella, with all of these insanely good battlers. So that's going to be it for his. Until next time, guys, I'm PokePrimer.